When you're describing something, do you ever find yourself drawing comparisons or trying to describe it in a less than literal way? For example, if you saw a dog running and said, "That dog runs like a little horse," this helps the audience know exactly what you mean very quickly. It's also an example of figurative language. Figurative language is when the meaning of the words you're using to describe an idea or term are different than what you're literally describing. It is a common literary device, and there are many types, including simile, metaphor, hyperbole, and personification, among others. Sandra Cisneros uses several different types of figurative language in the novella The House on Mango Street. One type of figurative language Cisneros uses is simile. A simile is a comparison statement that uses like or as part of the description. For example, in an early chapter, the narrator, Esperanza, describes her mother's hair. "My mother's hair, like little rosettes, like little candy circles, all curly and pretty." Of course, her mother's hair is not literally made of rosettes or candy, so you know right away that this is figurative language. The use of the word like as part of the comparison is what tells us that it is a simile. The main purpose of similes in this text is to aid the imagery. It helps give the reader a picture of what is being described by using a comparison. This can give a clearer and more poetic or interesting picture than using a literal description. Another type of figurative language in the novella is metaphor. Metaphors, like similes, are comparison statements, but instead of using like or as, it's a direct comparison, usually saying that one thing is another thing. We see one example of metaphor when Esperanza is talking about her sister and the fact that they are not really friends, partly because of their age difference. She says, "Someday I will have a best friend all my own. Until then, I am a red balloon, a balloon tied to an anchor." Because Esperanza says, "I am a red balloon," rather than "I am like a red balloon," we know this is a metaphor and not a simile. The purpose of metaphors is basically the same as that of similes, to aid description. It serves to give the reader a clear picture, in this case, a picture of how the narrator feels. By using the metaphor, we can see how she feels weighed down, when she should be light and free like a balloon. Metaphors and similes serve to enhance description and draw the reader into the story. Cisneros also uses hyperbole in The House on Mango Street. Hyperbole is an exaggeration that is so extreme it cannot possibly be true. In this novella, we see one instance of it in the girls' conversation about snow. Nenny, Esperanza's little sister, states that "there are a million zillion kinds." Of course, this number is too large to be believable, and so it is hyperbole. In this case, it serves to directly contrast Nenny with Lucy, who, earlier in the text, commented that there are only two kinds of snow, clean and dirty. This, in a way, might count as an under-exaggeration, placing Nenny's hyperbole starkly against it. The two girls are very different in age and ideas, and this use of hyperbole serves to illustrate that, without having to explicitly tell the reader anything. In addition, we see examples of personification in the text. Personification is when human traits are given to a non-human thing, like an animal, plant, or inanimate object. One example is when Esperanza describes the trees in front of her house. She says, "They are the only ones who understand me. 4 skinny trees with skinny necks, pointy elbows like mine." Trees cannot literally understand someone, and they don't have knees or elbows, which is what makes this a type of figurative language. What it does, like other types, is enhance description and help us picture the trees. It also gives us a glimpse into the narrator's mind by showing us how she connects with these trees. That tells us more about her character and adds more depth to the story. Sandra Cisneros uses many different types of figurative language in her novella The House on Mango Street. She uses similes with their like or as comparisons to enhance descriptions and give the reader a clear picture of what is being described. It also adds to the poetic quality of the work. Metaphors serve a similar purpose, but they don't use like or as. The novella also includes hyperbole, or an over-exaggeration. Finally, we also see personification in the text, or non-human objects given human traits. Overall, the figurative language in The House on Mango Street serves to enhance description and add depth to the text.